There's been a debate for years over whether New York should be the next state to legalize physician-assisted death for terminally ill patients. This year, both houses of the state legislature passed the measure, also known as medical aid in dying, for the very first time. It now sits on the governor's desk, awaiting her veto or signature. Supporters say that allowing physician-assisted death is the compassionate choice and gives people control over their final days. Opponents say it could be used to coerce people into ending their lives. We hear from both sides of this fierce debate on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Clarkson University, offering over 95 programs of study with campuses in the Hudson Valley, Central, and Northern New York. More at clarkson.edu.
Hi, I'm Kara Chapman. It's Friday, October 24th. Up first, a Clinton County jury found a Plattsburgh man guilty of murder Wednesday. 61-year-old Timothy Timmons was convicted of second-degree murder for shooting and killing 40-year-old Jafari Joseph. The verdict followed a nearly 2-week trial. Joseph was first reported missing late last December. An investigation determined he was killed, and his body was found in Franklin County in February. According to the Plattsburgh Press-Republican, Timmons faces 15 years to life in prison at his sentencing. Joseph's mother told the paper that justice was served. 2 other people have also been charged in connection with Joseph's killing. Timmons' ex-wife, Kelly Timmons of Peru, allegedly provided the gun used to shoot Joseph. Chad Nichols of Vermontville is accused of helping to hide his body. The ongoing government shutdown is threatening a program that keeps the heat on for New York's low-income residents. The Home Energy Assistance Program, or HEAP, pays a portion of energy bills for low-income households and seniors on a fixed income. The Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance oversees HEAP payments in New York. It began notifying local social services offices this week that HEAP applications are delayed until further notice. That includes emergency applications for customers who've received shutoff warnings from utility companies. Roughly 72,000 North Country households rely on HEAP to pay their energy bills. The 2025 general election is quickly approaching. Early voting begins tomorrow and runs through Sunday, November 2nd. You can find your county's early voting locations at elections.ny.gov. Tomorrow is also the deadline to register to vote in this election, and it's the last day boards of elections can receive mailed or online applications to vote by mail. Voters can apply in person for those ballots until November 3rd. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. A green group seeking to change the name of a mountain near Westport is now hitting pause on those plans. The move comes after some locals objected to the name change. David Escobar has more.
Coon Mountain is part of the Westport Preserve, a property that's owned by the Adirondack Land Trust. The group says over the years, it's heard from community members who find the mountain's name offensive. According to the Jim Crow Museum, the word coon has been used as a racial slur against Black people since slavery. Last month, the Sun Community News reported that the Land Trust was proposing the name Bloom Mountain, which is a nod to both the area's wildflowers and 19th century ironworkers known as bloomers. But after that story circulated online, some locals pushed back. They said the community wasn't properly informed and that there's no evidence the name was ever meant to be derogatory. The Land Trust says it's looked into the origins of the mountain's name, but it hasn't found anything definitive. The earliest explanation for the name comes from a 1902 book that references a raccoon. For now, the group is holding off on its request to the U.S. Board on Geographic Names. It plans to hold a community discussion about the renaming in December in Westport. David Escobar, North Country Public Radio.
Governor Kathy Hochul is weighing whether to sign legislation that would allow someone with a terminal illness to end their life. John Campbell, with the New York Public News Network, reports on the fierce lobbying over the so-called medical aid in dying bill.
Not long ago, Jeremy Bowl helped lead one of New York City's top hospital networks through some major crises.
My name is Jeremy Bowl. I'm the Chief Medical Officer for the Mount Sinai Health System.
That's him in 2014 talking to reporters about an Ebola scare. Later, he was there for an even more daunting challenge, the COVID pandemic. But these days, he's living a much quieter life. He lives with his wife, Becky, in a modest house on a gravel road in Columbia County, a couple hours north of Manhattan.
We've got a goat barn with 5 goats. I think you can probably hear a rooster cock-a-doodle-doing out there.
This is where he spends most of his time since getting his diagnosis in 2023.
ALS, its official name is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's also known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Bohl is 58 and currently gets around his home with a walker, but he knows the disease will likely paralyze him and eventually kill him. He says he slipped into a deep depression until he realized he could take a measure of control over his final moments.
I started to realize that, this isn't the 90s anymore, that there are a number of states where medical aid in dying is legal.
Medical aid in dying, or what some call physician-assisted death. Earlier this year, New York State lawmakers passed a bill that would make the state the 12th to authorize it in some form. The bill would let doctors prescribe lethal drugs to terminally ill patients at the patient's request. Corinne Carey is with a group called Compassion and Choices, which has been pushing the bill for years.
We are gathered here today to plead with the governor to make a swift decision and sign this bill so that people who are dying don't have to suffer.
I spoke to her before a rally at the state capitol.
Your biggest opposition is who?
The New York State Catholic Conference, frankly.
It's a group that represents the state's Roman Catholic bishops.
I'm Edward Scharfenberger. I am the Roman Catholic Bishop of the Diocese of Albany.
The bishops have opposed physician-assisted death for years, on religious grounds and on moral grounds, too.
I'm opposed to the bill because of the people it hurts, particularly aging people, but it doesn't only affect aging people. Anybody that's struggling with a terminal illness or very painful chapter in their life.
The bill would apply to people with an incurable diagnosis that leaves them with less than 6 months to live. The patient would have to ask for the prescription themselves. 2 physicians would have to certify they're eligible. If either thinks the patient lacks mental health capacity, they'd be referred for further evaluation. The bishops have been leaning on parishioners to make their voices heard. They're hoping their message is getting through to the governor, who often speaks of her Catholic upbringing.
That's what we're trying to do, basically to encourage people to think of what actually is happening right here and its implications.
Hochul knows what it's like to care for someone with a terminal disease. Her mother died of ALS in 2014. And supporters of the bill are doing their best to be heard, too.
June 24th, 2025. Dear Governor Hochul.
Dear Governor Hochul.
Governor Hochul.
Terminally ill people and their loved ones have been writing personal letters to the governor for months. I asked a few to read theirs out loud.
Knowing I can access medical aid in dying has freed me from the fear of the future and allowed me to live what remains of
Cancer treatment is rough, but my death does not have to be one marked by suffering. Please.
I ask that you sign this bill when given the chance. Thank you.
The governor has not signaled which way she's leaning. Asked about it last month, she said, we're all products of life's influences.
But I have to be very careful not to allow that to color my decision-making when I'm making a decision, not for myself or my family, but for 20 million New Yorkers.
Okay, let's get started. 1, 2, 3. There is more love somewhere.
At the rally at the state capitol, proponents of the bill delivered the governor's office a letter signed by thousands of supporters. Then they gathered in a semicircle and sang a song. Hochul has until the end of the year to sign or veto the bill. In Albany, I'm John Campbell for the New York Public News Network.
There is more hope somewhere.
We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Evan Veenstra of Gananoque, Ontario, and Tim Ellifritz of Johnsburg. I'm Kara Chapman, North Country Public Radio.